What getting clean means to me isn't about actually getting off the drugs. Getting off the drugs is the easy part. You can get off drugs probably in about like a week. You won't even be in withdrawal. Maybe 2-3 weeks for heroin, maybe a month max, and the symptoms will go away. But what actually remains is what you've kind of built into your head, all the assumptions, your outlook on life, the way that you approach things as an addict going towards the future. If you dump the addiction itself, the addictive personality, the addictive way of thinking, the addictive way of approaching things will still stay. You can drop that and easily replace it with a sex addiction, gambling addiction, alcohol, whatever. As addicts, our way of doing things is to the extreme every time. We can't just gamble a little bit. It'll become an obsession. We have a compulsive way of being. The more we get to know this about ourselves, and the more we try and set things in the way, and the more we try and actually change our personality to the point where we don't latch onto things. Because in early recovery, they always tell you not to date. And the reason why is because you don't want to become codependent, because it's another form of addiction. You're addicted to this person's emotions. You're addicted to trying to make them feel better. You're addicted to try and please them. And you can easily fall into that trap in assumptions kind of like about ourselves and about the people around us and about what they think, about what society thinks of us, that kind of leads us down this path time and time again. If we try and actually be better and realize that we are worth actually being off drugs, if there's something about us that the drugs are taking away from the world, and we realize this, and we realize we're worth more than doing this every day, the power that the compulsion has over you starts to dissipate, and you start to not actually get attached to that because you have more of a purpose in your life. You actually have things to look forward to. You wake up in the morning, and by the end of the day, when you go to sleep, you realize if you've spent your entire day being true to yourself, being true to the people around you, being honest, you know that you've done better than the day before. But if you constantly start beating yourself up, if you just think, oh, no one gives a fuck about me, I'm just a junkie, I could very easily just look at this scar and assume that everybody is noticing that about me. There's plenty of things that I could latch onto and let hang over my head like a fucking cloud, but I don't let it have that power. If you start letting it have that power, eventually it's going to overpower you. No matter what I've done in my addiction, I've always had a pretty solid moral compass. Even though I didn't show it, even though I didn't live it out, the things that I did and the ways that I behaved and the ways that I treated people and the things I stole and everything, I could go on forever about all the shitty things that I did, but I don't want to. It doesn't have that power over me anymore. All those things would keep me up at night because I knew that I was doing wrong. I knew the difference between right and wrong. We all do. We just don't act on it. And unless you just completely give up on yourself and you have zero shame and you just think that everything you're doing is completely justified, which I'm sure that it's very few of us really do, unless you're just hopeless, which at the end of the day some people are. But the vast majority of us know that what we're doing is wrong and it eats us up at night. And if you continue into early recovery still acting in a way that isn't true to how you actually think you should be behaving and doing things that doesn't line up with your moral compass, lying to yourself, lying to others, you know that you wouldn't like that to be done to you. And if you address things as they actually are, you don't need to keep up with it. You don't need to fucking remember how many times you lied or which lie you told this person or which lie you told that person. All that's out the window. You address reality as it is. And you're able to actually engage with reality because everybody's on the same page. That's why what I do today doesn't keep me up at night. Because I know that even though I've done bad in my past, I know that today I'm working to be better. I know that I've made improvements since yesterday, and I know that I'm going to make improvements tomorrow. And I can just be as good as I can be today. And I'm not doing anything that's against my morals. I'm not doing anything that I think is wrong. So I don't sit there worrying. I don't sit there worrying if someone's going to catch me. I don't sit there beating myself up thinking that, oh man, I'm not living up to my standards.